Hi,
Oh,
hi.
hi.
Can
Hi,
someone
Tilakraj.
confirm?
Yes, we can hear you now. Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Hi everyone, I'm here representing me and Virok. Virok is not here today, but both of us graduated from IIT Delhi, which is India's Ivy League. You can compare it to, say, MIT from engineering standards. Uh, have always been math nerds since we were kids. Won a lot of gold medals in National Math Olympiad, and we're always curious about math learning as a process. In fact, when Virok was in his eighth grade, he simplified all theorems that you might have learned. Someone published a book on that, and he was just 13 years old. Post college, both of us went the traditional route of joining management consulting firms like AT Kearney, joined some high tech, edtech startups like Scalar, which is a $700 million startup. Worked there for a few years, but realized that our passion lies in math learning or more in education, which is why sort of last year both of us opened our own micro school here in India to help kids learn math and other subjects also. And in the process, we discovered that mastery-based learning approach combined with one-on-one tutoring results in 3x the learning outcomes that a kid can get. So my idea on this call would be to share all those learnings that we have had till now and also sort of give an understanding of what we are trying to do at this moment and what we are trying to build. So currently we do pro bono tutoring with AI with the mission to help every child unlock their love for math. Yeah. Now, the first question that comes is why is math even important? Like, you must have heard from almost everyone, right? When I can use just a calculator, why is math important? Or another question is that not everyone needs to be a math scientist, not everyone needs to be a theoretical physicist. Why is math even important? And there are 2 to 3 reasons why math is important. One is math is the foundation of critical thinking. If you take away all the bad methods or pedagogies from which math is taught, math is just something that helps you think. It just asks you questions that are difficult in nature. It will push you to think. So it's one of the strongest foundations to enhance your critical thinking or a child's critical thinking at a very early stage, just to whenever they come up with a difficult question, uh, it just asks them difficult question. Math is just to enhance critical thinking. That is the first part. Second is it's also important in everyday life depending on what field you are in. For example, even if you don't pursue a STEM subject, it's very important for you to have a basic understanding of fractions, or it's very important for you to have a basic understanding of multiplication, division, or even place values. For example, you might mistake $1 billion for $1 million. You might mistake 5,000 US dollars for just 50,000 US dollars if you don't have a very good understanding of place values. And third is that it opens door for future careers. Math anxiety is such a big problem in US that 45% of kids don't choose a STEM subject just because of math anxiety. And while I agree with everyone that it's okay, everyone does not need to be a scientist, but just the fear of math anxiety should not stop anyone from becoming a math scientist. You will never know unless a kid explores math in the best manner that is possible, whether they'll like it or not. If you force math down on someone, nobody is going to like math. Nobody is going to like anything if you force it down on them. So just because your kid does not like math at this point does not mean that math is not for them. That's a myth that everyone has. And like you can see, right, there is a very strong correlation with math anxiety to a career somebody pursues. A STEM people with high math anxiety, only 20% of them pursue a STEM subject. When they have low anxiety, even in that case, only 60% pursue a STEM subject. So the question aside whether STEM is the right choice for you or not, my whole point is that nobody should be limited by math anxiety if STEM is the right answer for them. And with the pace that technology is moving, STEM is going to be one of the biggest areas that kids can flourish in. The advancements that are happening in technology, math is very crucial for that. Now let's hear some of the common things that parents say, right? Have to really push my child to study math. She's really hit a wall, not going beyond fractions. It's taking much longer than you think it should. Oh, she was great at math, but now her confidence is so low. We end up fighting, and it's really taking a toll on both of us. These are majorly homeschooling parents, by the way. He's 5 grades behind, and I don't know what to do. What do I say? Math always ends up in tears. So if you could see, there is a very strong emotion attached to math. Math is no more just a subject. Math, there are strong emotions around math, which are majorly around fear, around hate. Uh, and one of the biggest conceptions that people have around math is that my child isn't really a math person. But the fact is that there is no child who isn't a math person or is a math person. It always depends on how good their understanding is of math and how well they are able to progress. And the fact is that parents are not able to find something or correlate math with their interest of their child. Their child does not really see how math is relevant to real life. For example, I was teaching a kid place values yesterday, and he did that for almost 6 months. Until now, he did not realize why he was learning place values. So while he mastered the concept, once he understood why place values is important when he's dealing with money or when he's dealing with different statistics, it became so much more enjoyable for him, the whole process, right? It's important that kids enjoy the whole process of math learning. And third is that the curriculums are so spiral that he's not able to master math. So these are like the common things that people say. Now, uh, let us talk about why math anxiety is a problem and why are kids not able to learn math. The number one reason there is that math should feel relevant to be engaging for a child, right? And there are two things there. One is irrespective of the grade child is in. For example, if there is a second grader, the only way math is going to be relevant for them is if you contextualize it to their favorite characters, which is Duffy and Muffy from PBS Kids. If you contextualize it to their favorite art forms, if you contextualize to things that they do, if to a second grader you try to explain the importance of money or so many other things, it might be very difficult for them because they are not able to relate to it, right? They are not able to relate to uh, anything that is beyond, say, cartoons or anything in their interest area. So how people define real life is also very important. Real life is something that is relevant to them at that point. In this point, if PBS Kids is relevant for them, it is important that they learn math through PBS Kids. It will help them overcome their math anxiety. And second, math should feel desirably challenging to be engaging. What desirably challenging means is that it shouldn't be too easy, because if it's too easy, it will be too boring for them. It does not need to be too hard, because if it's too hard, it will stop them from learning more. And what stops from math being desirably challenging? One is that kids move beyond certain concepts without mastering them. So in their later years in life, they struggle with a few complex concepts because there are foundational gaps that remain, which makes the concept much more harder. And second is they don't really follow a mastery based approach, which essentially means if you move beyond grades without ensuring that you have mastered a concept beforehand, you'd always struggle because all the foundation concepts that you learn, for example, we understand the importance of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division because it's relevant to us now. But the importance of concepts like operational thinking in algebra, the importance of concepts like geometry, these are important in their later years in life when they're in grade 9, grade 10. This is sort of the time when they have to choose what subjects they should be pursuing. This is the time where they sort of start thinking deeply about their careers, right? And third is that the feedback loop should be more stronger and faster, which essentially means that whenever you are teaching a child, one thing that most parents do wrong is just hand out the answer to them or just draw it out to them. But the whole process of math learning should be about self discovery. That if the child is able to self discover by themselves why a certain concept exists, why do they struggle with it, what are the conceptual gaps that remain, it just enhances their own understanding. And second is quick resolution of doubts. What usually happens is that whenever they are learning through a software solution or anything, there are doubts that remain, which obviously because parents are not necessarily experts at math, they are not able to resolve it, or they are hesitant about asking doubts. So what essentially happens is there's a doubt that remains, and in the short term that doubt might not be a bigger problem, but just try to think of compounding effects of these doubts. Every kid gets a doubt every day, almost every single day, whenever they are learning math. 365 days, combine it to like 10 years, 3000, uh, almost 3500 doubts, right? Now a kid at 10th grade has 3500 doubts, and this is just uh, like not even, this is not even compounding, this is just a simple addition of everything. So this is how big a problem, like in hindsight, when you look at this slide, you'll think, oh, we really do this. But if you just question yourself 3 4 times, do you really do it, in what depth you do it, is when you sort of get an understanding of what's going wrong. Now I'll just help you understand how we do it. So we follow the IDSM framework, which almost everyone can use. The first part of that is making math interest based. Like I said, interest can be almost anything. What parents usually tend to do is maybe teach math through a few examples like grocery shopping or say baking, etc. And that is sort of the area where humans are limited by ideas, and which is why we use AI, because an AI has so much knowledge of everything that is available in the world that it can make uh, questions math interest based and is not limited by ideas. So it is very important that you make math interest based for a kid, so at the time when they are learning it, it becomes relevant for them. Second is, like again I said, desirably challenging. Third is Socratic questioning. I've maybe mentioned about all three of these points before, but Socratic questioning is what sort of I want to double click on now. Socratic questioning is essentially whenever a kid gives the wrong answer, what we usually tend to do is just write down the answer or just help them understand how you can do it. But how about you ask these two questions to them? One is, okay, you got this answer wrong. Help me understand your thought process. And there you'll understand what is the gap, that is, what is it actually that they're doing wrong. And second is just Socratically questioning them around the concept. For example, if it is 10 divided by 2 and they say 5 it's 20, you just ask them, if 10 divided by 2 is 20, what is 10 multiplied by 2? So questions like these, maybe 2 to 3 questions to help them discover the answer by their own. And which is why I use AI. Like I said earlier, humans by their very nature are limited by ideas, are limited by the things that they can do. It's important that education is personalized for every child that exists out there, and we use AI to create personalized learning paths for them, ensuring that problem solving is very interactive. We have adaptive assessments, we have engaging simulations, etc. And Naila, I will just show a video that will maybe help you explain how um, Socratic and AI does Socratic questioning, right? And how maybe you can also do it. So this is a student. How I got to know about Gift was through Alvil, who is a big promoter of Gift, and we started tutoring her kids. So her kids are part of this initiative that we're doing, and absolutely brilliant kids, both Samuel and Asher. Just let me know if you can hear the audio, okay? Can you hear the audio? Can somebody confirm? Perfect.
Yes. Yep.
Not quite right, Asher. You got 188, but let's dig into how you got there. Can you tell me what steps you took to arrive at that answer? Did you multiply both numbers directly, or did you break them down into parts? Let's explore your thought process.
Wait, so, I was trying to do 27. I did 27 times 4. So 7 times 4 would be 28. And then bring the 2 up to the tens place, carry the 2, and then add the 8 in the tens place. But then I got confused. But for the second one, yeah, it was easy. For like the 2 times 4 is 8, and then 8 plus 2 is 20, is 10. So I added 10, so it's 108. And then I got 80 for the next one, but I was confused if I added 0, 2 zeros, or none zeros.
So it also gives you responses basis options of responses that you can select for your child, right? Whichever you think they'll learn the best way.
Great job explaining your thought process, Asher. It sounds like you're using the distributive property, which is awesome. Let's break it down a bit more to clear up the confusion. You did 27 times 4 and got 108, which is correct for that part. 2, for the tens place, you multiplied 2 times 4 correctly, but then it looks like there was a mix-up with the addition.
I get it
Can
now.
you try this? What?
So this is Asher's moment of self-discovery when he says, "Oh," before even getting to explain the final answer, he has understood at this point what he did wrong for two reasons. One is he went into his thought process all by himself, broke down how he was thinking about it, and once he sort of got a cue to what is the next step or how to think about it, he just like got to the answer himself. Now just compare it to maybe handing out a solution, right? And just compare it to doing that for several years. And this is not something that a parent can't do, right? This is extremely simple that almost everyone can do. Now I'll show you something around interest-based learning. Just confirm again if you are able to hear the audio. So this is a kid, Alice, who absolutely hated math as in was not able to sit for even say 10 minutes or 15 minutes. This is her 50th minute here.
You and Arthur have 4 cookies at the sugar bowl. You give 1 cookie to Buster. How many cookies are left?
3.
Perfect, Alice. 4, 3 cookies left. You've got this. Here's another one. You and DW have 6 crayons, but you give 2 crayons to Muffy. How many crayons do you have now?
Oh, okay. Let's do a different character now. Let's do. Okay. What about Francine and Sue Ellen?
Which one?
Sue Ellen and.
So Francine and Sue Allen are her favorite characters that she watches in PBS Kids. And what she essentially does is she would just ask the AI to contextualize the math question basis her understanding. So sometimes she'll say, DW and Muffy were fighting in yesterday's episode. And now she's learning addition through that format. So it becomes engaging for her, which is why she's been able to sit till 50 minutes. And now, just under a month, it has been possible that now she can sit for 50 minutes and ask her mom to like just do more and more math as much she can do it. So yeah, I'll just come back. Yeah, so what are we building right now? What you saw, we use the model of ChatGPT, but we are going to be building our own models in the future. Sorry. Yeah, right now the capabilities of these AI models, it's still far from where it can be, which is why we use a combination of a human plus an AI tutor. But we are building these models so that every child can personalize an AI tutor for them. And our vision is to essentially making every child fall in love with math. And if that can't happen, at least nobody should fear math is what we want. And the second part of is just democratizing private education, making education accessible to everyone. The best thing we all know that the best or the most effective solution that is there for everyone is a private tutor, just because it can personalize education for your child. But we think that even there are limitations to what a quality mentor is, and they are again very expensive. So if what if every child can have their favorite tutor with them, with whom they can engage at any point they want to. So yeah, brief summary. Happy to answer any question that you might have if we still have some time left. There's a QR code if somebody wants to book a session with us, get in touch with me. You can just scan the QR code, and I'm always happy to chat about math learning. Even if we don't have a slot available, we'd be happy to help your kid in some or the other way. We'd be happy to do a session with parents to just help them understand what is it that they are doing wrong, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm happy and open for questions if there are any.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Tilakraj. So seeing how you combine AI to accommodate the students, I can say anxiety problem to math. Okay. So yeah, it's really amazing to see that. But then like it's more like the analysis in the beginning, like is there from your experience, like is there any like common signs that a child is experiencing math anxiety, and then like how can parents like recognize them earlier, like is there any specific common signs from some of the cases that you've been through?
There is a slide that I missed, which was around what are the things that parents do wrong, and there are two, three common things
Mm.
wrong. One of that, and the biggest one, is just handing down shortcuts to them, giving tips and tricks to learn any concept, just get there faster. So you need to be very patient with math. You need to be very patient with learning at all. So it is going to take time, but you need to ensure that you follow a mastery-based learning approach and not pushing to kids to just advance through grade level, especially if you are homeschooling them. There's literally no advantage of doing that. And second, the other things that happen is that parents just push their child to do math without really explaining them why it is important. So even Samuel and Asher, both of us asked them. By the way, Alvil does not do it, but Samuel and Asher were so curious about math. Why is it that they are learning a concept? Why is it that they have to learn that concept? Why is it even relevant to them, right? Um, Kids by their very nature are very creative. They like creation. So one thing that you'll see common across every kid is that they like two games, Minecraft and Roblox. When you try to dive deeper into what is that they really like about it, it's the process
Mhm.
of creation, right? And when you try
Yeah.
to stop that creativity by just asking them to memorize something, just asking them to just do math for 30 to 40 minutes every day, the compounding effect that is very high. So what if you can enable creativity in math, creation in math, that would be amazing. And which is what is done in these adventure based learning, right? If you make math very just imagine every kid having a math comic of their own, which other kids can also use. They can create their own comics, right, around math. Just create to How can you enable creation? Essentially, kids are very creative, kids are very curious by their very nature. So if you can't essentially improve that creativity or enhance their creativity or uplift them there, you should not at least hinder it or block it. That is what is currently happening, that parents try to hinder the creativity or block the creativity, and while they think that because they are enabling them to do other extracurricular activities, they are enabling creativity, but they don't realize that when they are doing actually math or learning some subjects, you try to push down the creativity to some extent. So that is again something that parents need to know.
So it's to avoid limit their creativity. So instead, we can try to accommodate their needs to explore
Yeah.
more, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tilakraj. Maybe from Gia, you have something to add?
Yeah, it was a really great presentation. It was great to see how you're using AI to enhance the learning ways and the uh, way of teaching the students. And as a student in India, IIT Delhi has always been like it's always been my dream college. So it's great to hear that you've graduated from there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any
Thank you.
questions?
Yes. Maybe from Nero, the last maybe comment.
Maybe a comment here. But thank you though for Tilakraj to sharing this one. This is opening a new perspective on how we perhaps like being a future parents, in handling this kind of situations. Uh, it was understanding math, like the importance of math is being forced to me also be with from my parents. But with your perspective, I can like, oh, okay, instead of doing that, I can do this. You know, thank you so much for sharing this. Very, very, I don't know how to word it out. But it's a
I got
very
your point. Yeah.
a very impressive explanation about the math thing. Thank you though.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Tilakraj, for sharing.